BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
Coalition MPs exploring a potential shift away from the net zero emissions target have reportedly been presented with research downplaying the severity of climate impacts, including claims that heat deaths aren't a thing. These briefings, delivered by the conservative think tank Center for Independent Studies, CIS, have also challenged the prospects of significant sea level rises and questioned the economic viability of renewable energy sources, asserting that no one has ever made low-cost energy from wind and solar power. Guardian Australia has obtained details of presentation slides used in these sessions with MPs in Canberra this week, alongside findings from private polling on public sentiment towards the net zero commitment. The briefings were initiated by a coalition backbench committee, designed to foster internal discussions on key policies, notably the contentious climate target. Polling conducted among 1,010 respondents by Insights Portal revealed a mixed public opinion on the net zero target, with 32% favoring its retention, while 16% expressed a desire for its complete abandonment. The majority, 52%, advocated for a revised approach, seeking change to more flexible, realistic, and achievable goals. This middle ground option appears poised to become the coalition's potential compromise position, aimed at unifying a party room demonstrably divided on climate policy. Among the various internal proposals considered, all of which signal a departure from the previous Peter Dutton era stance, are repealing Labour's legislated climate targets, postponing the net zero deadline, and exempting specific sectors, such as agriculture, from its full scope. Interestingly, the polling indicated that only 9% of respondents supported extending the net zero deadline when presented with different alteration scenarios. While Guardian Australia could not independently verify the source of the commissioned poll, coalition insiders suggest it was funded by an anonymous, high net worth individual rather than the party itself. Approximately 20 coalition MPs reportedly attended Monday's briefing, which preceded a scheduled debate on net zero this Friday. The Backbench Committee, spearheaded by Jane Hume and Simon Kennedy, has been actively engaging with various organizations, including the Blueprint Institute, McKinsey, and Broken Bay Associates, to present a spectrum of perspectives on the ongoing energy debate. The CIS's extensive 60-slide presentation, titled "What Matters in the Energy Debate," reportedly featured anti-net zero cartoons and graphics that challenge established climate science and the cost-effectiveness of renewables, while also scrutinizing the operational roles of governmental bodies like the Australian Energy Market Operator and the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organisation. One particularly contentious slide, titled "Heat Deaths Aren't a Thing," purportedly used graphs from a recent climate risk assessment as its basis, conspicuously omitting that the same report projected a potential 444% increase in heat-related deaths in Sydney if global warming exceeds 3 degrees Celsius. Another slide questioned the certainty of sea level rises, stating, "Small sea level rises are certain. Large ones aren't," while a third slide provocatively declared, "No one has ever made low-cost energy from wind and solar." A coalition source, speaking anonymously, expressed alarm, stating that while hearing from the CIS was a crucial part of the policy review, it felt like listening to a think tank with a special affection for coal, lamenting the apparent lack of consideration for environmental impacts. In defense of its research, CIS Executive Director Michael Stutchbury stated that the think tank's findings offer the most accurate explanation for why the increased reliance on intermittent solar and wind power has coincided with the erosion of Australia's traditional advantage in cheap energy. Addressing claims of a pro-coal bias, Stutchbury maintained a technology-agnostic stance on the energy transition, emphasizing that all solutions must be cost-effective and not exacerbate energy prices for Australian households. The private polling also delved into other net zero-related questions and energy pricing, including scenarios involving delaying the transition and increasing the utilization of coal and gas. For instance, when respondents were asked if they would support postponing the net zero target in exchange for lower prices and more reliable energy, a significant 63% indicated their support, with 19% undecided and 18% opposed. Dr. Dorian von Freyhild of Insights Portal, who conducted the polling, declined to comment when approached by Guardian Australia. Meanwhile, Senator Jane Hume announced Tuesday her intention to introduce a private member's bill aimed at lifting the ban on nuclear energy, signaling a renewed push for this power source by her party. A few months after it was rejected at the federal election, Hume's proposed legislation would repeal the nuclear moratorium established during the John Howard era, thereby enabling entities like the Clean Energy Finance Corporation and the Australian Renewable Energy Agency to invest in nuclear technology. This proposal represents a considerably diluted version of the coalition's previous election policy, which had envisioned replacing retired coal-fired power stations with taxpayer-funded nuclear reactors at 7 national sites. Senator Hume argued that a genuine commitment to emissions reduction necessitates keeping all options on the table, asserting that a failure to be technology agnostic ultimately prioritizes the proliferation of renewable energy projects over the actual goals of lowering emissions and energy prices. She concluded that true technological neutrality can only be achieved through the removal of the nuclear energy moratorium.